Gillette, the best a man can get.
Back here on First Things First on this Memorial Day, and we're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Sarah Kusma.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks for being with us today.
A holiday with the three of you.
What's better?
There's nothing better. There's nothing better.
Yep. That's what I said this morning. It was a Saturday night to remember for Canada. Bucks Raptors Game 6. Kawhi Leonard fully justifying that trade to Toronto from San Antonio last year, posterizing Giannis to cap off a 26-3 run by the Raptors. Kawhi finishes 27 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Raptors advance to the first ever NBA Finals where they'll face the Warriors. Here's Kawhi after that historic performance.
It's great. You know, I worked so hard to get to this point with the season I had last year. You know, just always betting on myself and knowing what you know, just knowing what I feel and, you know, what's right for me. I don't really judge my, you know, game like that. I'm more of a team aspect, see what my team is doing. Just want to win. I don't care about being the best player. I want to be the best team. I always said that. And, you know, just before the season when we made the trade, Masai felt that way about me. He told me how he felt and why he made the trade. And, you know, it's turning out well now. I mean, we're in the finals and we're not done yet.
Kawhi is like, I don't know how many more good things I can say about him, right? I mean, he's just so good. And again, I'm seeing a level of competitive greatness out of him. I mean, it's just his willing us to win and him grabbing those rebounds and willing those shots in almost, it seems like, and going down and locking up somebody and taking the ball from them. It's what it is. It's great competitive. All
right, Sarah, how did the Raptors do it? We all thought, a lot of people did, that they were left for dead at 0-2, but they somehow, not UCC, they somehow managed to win 4
even after?
This is what I've seen too much playoff basketball, and I've seen it change in games 3 and 4. But a team that has not proven it, like Milwaukee, I'm not going to grant them, they are a championship team. And because of who I work with, it's like whatever team you're on. Right now, Steph Curry realizes we got a little less offense, so to create balance for the show, I have to do a lot of work.
No, that's fine.
I got to do a lot of work to build balance out this.
I was all in on Milwaukee. I think even Chris thought Milwaukee was the heavy favorite up
I thought they were a better team.
Right, but not that they were necessarily going to, that the series wasn't over. I did think the series was over. And so to read T. Jenner's question, how did you think they were able to do it?
You were not the only one that thought that Milwaukee was a heavy favorite. But let's not forget, these were the top 2 teams with the top 2 records in the NBA. This was an extraordinary series. But I think it all starts, we watched Kawhi, we listened to how he spoke, not just after that game, but throughout the entirety of this whole series, of this whole postseason. Kyle Lowry said it. There was a steadiness to him. There is a way in which he has the same unwavering confidence regardless of the situation and circumstance. I think that filtered down to his team, and that was a hard-fought game 3 for them to come back in the manner of which they did, the double overtime win, to be able to take care of their home court and head back to Milwaukee. But I think everything about this win was predicated on their defense. Milwaukee finished the regular season 4th offensive rating in the league. No one could figure out how to stop Giannis. No one could figure out how to stop them, put them in the half court, slow down the freight train that he is, you know, whether it's in transition or in the half court. And the switch that was made in game 3 by Nick Nurse to have Kawhi Leonard as his primary defender, switching up a few things with the defense, going to more of zone looks. But in the entirety of this last game, and it's what it showed throughout the course of this series, their rotations were on point. Communication was extraordinary. This was the type of stuff that is the elite type of defenses in the postseason that changed what Milwaukee could do offensively. To me, that ultimately won them the series.
All right, so there's the micro and the macro. The micro is this. The Milwaukee Bucks play a very high variance level of basketball because of how many threes they allow and how many threes they shoot. The only team that shoots more threes is the Rockets. Why do the Rockets play that way? Obsessed with beating the Warriors. They know the Warriors are more talented. They know the Warriors are better, so they want to bring variance into it. Milwaukee played that way, turned into this juggernaut, and then the variance went against them the final 2 games of this series. Toronto in both those games shot over 40% from 3. Milwaukee in game 5 only made 10 threes. In game 6, made 6 threes in the first quarter. and the rest of the game was 6 of 28 from 3. With 2 makes from Giannis, the rest of the team was 4 of 24 from 3 in quarters 2 through 4. So that bit him. Fred VanVleet catches fire in games 4, 5, and 6. That bit him. But the macro is this. I'm sorry. The Raptors had a closer, and right now the Bucks did. And I love Giannis. I said I would adopt Giannis. He is my favorite player to watch currently playing.
He's literally 4 years younger than you.
Okay, that's fair enough. But he
Can I adopt him?
But he has a glaring hole in his game, and it got exploited. And it's a hole that no one's been able to exploit all year. But no matter how great of a player you are, you can be LeBron James. Oh, you can't post up? Guess what? It's all we're going to ask you to do. Oh, you're Steph Curry, you struggle on defense? How about we just run you through 75 pick and rolls and see if it wears you down in the 2016 NBA Finals? For Giannis, it was, you won't shoot that mid-range. We will let you get to 12 feet, and if you pull up from there, our defense is drawing dead. And on the flip side, the Raptors' best player, Kawhi Leonard, right now has no weaknesses in his game. The one weakness was he doesn't pass. Okay, well, now he had career-high 9 assists in Game 5 and then 7 assists in Game 6. And at the end of games, the Raptors could just give the ball to Kawhi and say, make the right play. And the Bucks could not do that with Giannis.
And Giannis has got to get some help from Coach Bud. Because, Nick, you talked about the evolution of Giannis and the difference between Jason Kidd as the head coach and Coach Bud. But Coach Bud had no answers. The reason why you can get him in the half court, you can take the ball out of Giannis's hand, you can crowd the lane. They played the #1 defense. When you're teaching basketball, you teach defense, because kids ain't going to play man-to-man. You need to teach them a 2-3 zone or a 3-2 zone. That's all they did against Giannis. They played the 3-2 zone, him coming down the middle. We're going to chip into the paint. We're going to be able to get out on the wing players. So they didn't have a game plan to put Giannis in the low post. If they had put him in the low post against Kawhi, oh, they would have had trouble, because all you do is throw the ball in. If they decide to double team, he kicks it straight out for an open 3-point look. And Giannis does not know how to attack the defense on either wing. He only attacks when he's at the point guard and at the top of the key. If he was on the wing, because they have such prevalent good corner shooters, the corner can't help him. So if he developed a wing game to go with the low post game, I believe that that's the Giannis we're going to see.
But I think a part of that is what you need to do throughout the course of the series, even put him in different places and points of attack. And for Milwaukee, the offense was just too predictable. There wasn't many changes. So how good Toronto's defense was also was in part because what they saw to the Bucks was very much the same throughout the course of the entire series.
You look at Kawhi now. Was Kawhi first of all, was he the best player in that series? And will he be the best player moving forward in the next series?
I think without a doubt. First part of your question, I think without a doubt he was the best player in that series, the previous series we just saw. And I'm not sure going into that series, I think it was up for, at least in my mind, up for debate whether it would be Kawhi or Giannis. I think clear-cut Kawhi was not only what he did offensively, defensively, but the little thing. I mean, think about all the rebounds that he got, the offensive rebound. He had game-changing plays throughout the course of all 6 of those games. I'm not sure, though, as we head into the finals, what's Steph Curry going to look like? He's been excellent throughout the course, especially of these last 6 games playing without Kevin Durant. Is Kevin Durant going to come back? So I think it's going to be fun to see what players come out at the stage that we're getting set to see.
If Kevin Durant was to rush himself and come back, it wouldn't even be fair to put him in it, because I still believe the calf will be a lingering issue if he was on the court. But if we're judging basketball the way the basketball game should be played, there's 94 feet. There will be no question in this final who's the best player, and that's Kawhi Leonard. Because what he does on the defensive end, if you're looking at real basketball, and the reason why it was a great comparison with him and Giannis, because we have 2 of the top 5 defenders we have in the league. Both of them playing on the court at the same time. It's different with Steph Curry. He has no rating as a defensive player. It's predictable what he's going to look like on defense. Steph on offense, he'll be amazing. Now, it's just a matter of if Kawhi puts up the same numbers that he put up in round 1, round 2, and in the finals, we know what he's going to do on the defensive end. I believe Kawhi Leonard will be the best player on the court.
And the other thing, however you tier Kawhi, KD, and Steph, what Kawhi has unequivocally answered is you can trust him as your closer. And that was something that we hadn't seen him do on this type of stage in San Antonio, because he hadn't been on this type of stage. The last time he played in a conference finals game, a full game, was 2014.
And people who watch basketball, people in the media, everyone wants to give San Antonio credit for all of Kawhi. Oh, they developed him. Oh, he did this. Oh, that looked like Kawhi Leonard. It's time for us to start giving Kawhi credit for developing his game.
No doubt about it. But the point that I'm making is Kawhi, the Spurs actually, I think people have forgotten, hadn't made it back to it. They won the title in 2014. They only made the conference finals 1 year between now and then, and that was the year that Kawhi got hurt in the third quarter by Zaza Pachulia. So we hadn't seen him on this level of stage close people out. The Raptors had, starting with really, I would say, maybe going into the series, but certainly by game 3, even though they were down 2-1 after game 3, they knew if it is close late, it favors us. If it is close late, it favors our role players, and it favors Kawhi, because we don't have to scheme up something for him. We can just give him the ball and he'll figure it out. That is an enormous edge that I didn't know going into this series Toronto would have, because we hadn't seen Kawhi do it as this level of his career. We now have seen it.
All right, Sarah, stick around. Take a break. Coming up, can the Warriors complete the three-peat without Durant? That's next up. First things first. Is that?